If you're just joining us, we're Derek, Ashley, and Pete, and we're traveling Alaska in our Class B RV Risky. In our last episode, we took you from the glacier-carved valleys of Hatcher Pass all the way to the coast, hanging out with massive sea lions and checking out the local breweries in Valdez. It was an incredible journey, so make sure you go back and watch that one if you missed it. But today, we're taking things to a whole new level. We're driving deep into Wrangell-St. Elias, the largest national park in the United States. We're going to navigate one of Alaska's most rugged dirt highways, cross a massive pedestrian footbridge, and explore an isolated billion-dollar copper mining ghost town. And on top of all that, we're taking Pete on a hike straight onto a massive glacier. Strap in because this is one of the wildest, most remote places we've ever taken risky. Yesterday we left Valdez. We drove a few hours just outside of Chitna, and this is where we camped out last night. It's a beautiful little spot right off the side of the road, and this is right before we hit the McCarthy Road, which is going to take us over to McCarthy and into Wrangell-St. Elias National Park. There is nothing that says epic van life road trip quite like starting the day with some morning dental hygiene in the front seat. Fresh and ready to go, we hit the Edgerton Highway. This paved 2-lane road serves as the gateway towards the park. As you drive this stretch, the Chugach Mountains start looming larger and larger in the windshield. It's absolutely stunning, but it's really just a warm-up act for the real adventure that begins right at the end of the pavement. As we push further east on the Edgerton, the landscape gets wilder and the signs of civilization completely drop away. You're driving into a park that is larger than the entire country of Switzerland. At mile 33, the Edgerton Highway officially ends at the tiny town of Chitna. And that is where the real fun begins. The pavement vanishes, and we transition onto the infamous rugged dirt and gravel of the McCarthy Road, pushing deep into the absolute wilderness. The McCarthy Road stretches 60 miles, and it is legendary. You are literally driving onto history. This dirt road was built directly on top of the old Copper River and Northwestern Railway. Back in 1911, engineers laid these train tracks over shifting glaciers and deep canyons just to haul copper out of the mountains. It cost over $20 million to build back then, earning the nickname the $1 Million Bridge Route. When the train stopped running in 1938, they pulled up the tracks and eventually threw dirt over the railbed. Because of that, you can still find old railroad spikes working their way up through the gravel. It's notorious for eating tires, so you have to take it slow. It's dusty, remote, and there is no cell service out here. But navigating risky through these endless forests, past hidden lakes, and over these historic one-lane trestle bridges is a pure Alaskan rite of passage. Finally, after hours of bumping along, we pulled into the Welcome Center at Basecamp, Kennicott. Today we're in Wrangell-St. Elias National Park. We're going to be doing the Kennicott History Mine Town, and then we're going to be checking out the glacier here. We're over here at the Basecamp parking area, and it's $6 per day just to be able to park here, which is not bad. $12 to park overnight, so if you plan on going out and doing like tent camping in the area, you'll be able to park for 24 hours for $12. And then if you're planning on camping here and staying overnight, it's going to be $35. And then that increases, I think if you're over 25 feet long as a vehicle. Really not that bad. This place is out in the middle of nowhere, so there's only a few places that you're going to be able to find around here. Now you have to park here because the only way across to get over to McCarthy and Kennicott is going to be the bridge over my shoulder here, and this is just a bridge that allows people across. They do allow the four-wheelers across, and that's for the locals, but you need to park before this bridge and then take the shuttle if you'd like to get to McCarthy and then up to Kennicott. Pete does not like the grade of this bridge going across, so we're gonna have to carry him across. Look at this guy.
Are you okay? Did you look down?
Oh my God. We're walking right over the river and you can see it right between the grate. Once you make it across the Kennecott River footbridge, you have to decide how you're getting to the towns. You can walk the half-mile into McCarthy and then hike the grueling, dusty 4.5-mile uphill to Kennecott, or you can take the local shuttle. Take the shuttle. It's an absolute luxury out here in the backcountry, and it's totally worth the few bucks for a ticket. The best part? These shuttles are completely dog-friendly. Pete hopped right on with us without any issues. The shuttles generally run every 30 to 40 minutes during the summer season, making it super easy to jump between the bridge, McCarthy, and Kennicott. It saves your legs for the actual glacier hike, keeps you out of the dust from passing vans, and it's a fun way to chat with the local drivers who know this area inside and out.
That's where he must be.
The shuttle drops you right in the middle of Kennicott, and stepping out feels like you just time traveled. The sheer scale of these iconic red buildings clinging to the side of the mountain is staggering. You're looking at one of the most perfectly preserved 20th century mining camps on Earth.
We made it to McCarthy, and in McCarthy we had to stop off with the shuttle and get a wristband. It's $15 a person to be able to basically ride the shuttle all day. You can go back and forth as much as you want, but it's basically a day pass. You can get like a week-long pass if you want. But once you get into McCarthy and you get your wristband, then you continue up to Kennicott. That's where we are now. But right now it's just afternoon, so we're gonna go over to do the glacier hike, and then we're gonna come back and check out all the historical landmarks over here in Kennicott. And we haven't even started the hike yet, and Pete is already slowing down.
It's just like his mama. We're homebodies.
Now the hiking trail all the way out is about 2.5 miles, but you can cut off, so what I've heard is cut off and like go down to the glacier at just around 2 miles, which is perfect. We can do 2 miles out, 2 miles back, and then hang out on the glacier for however long we want. And dogs are allowed on the trail, even though this is basically under the national park system. So Pete is going to be going on his first glacier ever today. Now the name of the glacier that we're hiking out to is called Root Glacier, and you can already see it like as soon as you pull up into the town of McCarthy, just whatever is left over from that glacier, and it's receded over years and years. And we're gonna be very cautious and keep talking to each other. I have the bear spray connected to the backpack right now because we are in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, in serious bear country.
The hike out to Root Glacier is about a 3 to 4 mile round trip, depending on how far out onto the ice you want to go. The trail skirts the edge of the lateral moraine, offering these massive sweeping views of the valley. But what you're looking at as you hike isn't just a regular rocky valley. It is rock, boulder, and debris that has been chewed up, ground down, and spit out by the immense power of this glacier over the thousands of years. As you walk this path, you really start to understand why the original prospectors who founded this place had to be so tough. Imagine hauling heavy mining equipment, food, and supplies through this rugged terrain during a freezing Alaskan winter. The entire town of Kennecott only existed because a couple of prospectors spotted what looked like a vibrant green patch of grass high up on the mountain ridge back in 1900. It wasn't grass. It was one of the richest concentrations of copper ore ever discovered in human history. Now, to get to that copper, the miners had to live, build, and work in this exact unforgiving landscape. And the trail we are walking right now was essentially part of their backyard. The path itself is fairly moderate, dipping through some dense alder brush and crossing small icy creeks. As I mentioned, you absolutely have to stay bear aware out here. Grizzlies and black bears use these exact same valleys as trails to travel. As you get closer to the glacier, you'll notice the temperature actually drops significantly. You can literally feel the massive wall of ice radiating a natural freezing air conditioning down through the valley. It's an incredible feeling. The green vegetation starts to thin out, the ground turns to loose, crushed slate and glacial till, and suddenly the landscape opens up completely, revealing this sprawling, towering, white and deep blue river of ice right in front of you.
Well, this trail brings you literally to the toe of the glacier, and then you're going to be able to climb up from there. We can already see some people that are doing some ice climbing out there, and then people that are just out on their own, just enjoying the glacier. There's nobody around to really watch over you and make sure you're being safe, so you need to be sure to be safe out here. All right, we are officially at the glacier. We've got our crampons on, and Pete has his little booties.
Hey, and just like that, Pete is officially a glacier dog. Getting a dog onto a glacier is an epic milestone, but you have to be prepared. Glacial ice is incredibly sharp and abrasive, and it can tear up a dog's paw pads in minutes. Not to mention, it is literally freezing. So before stepping onto the ice, we strap Pete into these special rubber dog booties. They protect his paws from the jagged ice crystals and keep him insulated from the cold, allowing him to actually enjoy the hike with us instead of being miserable. Watching him trot around on this ancient deep blue ice in his little shoes was absolutely hilarious and totally worth the effort. But while Pete was doing great, the ice itself is wildly treacherous for humans. It is hard, incredibly uneven, and far more slippery than you might expect, even when you're trying to be careful. Just look at this landscape. Root Glacier is what's known as a valley glacier, flowing down from the towering stairway icefall high above us. It connects to the massive Kennecott Glacier, creating a sea of ice that carves its way through the Wrangell Mountains. The deep blue color that you see in the crevasses and pools happens because the glacial ice is so dense that it absorbs all the colors of the spectrum except blue. It is absolutely mesmerizing.
Well, our micro spikes are just not cutting it out here. You can actually rent crampons when you first pull up and you pay for the parking. They've got them in the office there. Yeah, if we really wanted to explore this glacier, we definitely would have had to have rented those, because these are just not working out for us. We could see some people off in the distance, and they're probably another, I don't know, half mile out that way. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. So we're just going to turn around and make our way back over to Kennicott and check out the historical town. You can see the ice field way off in the distance behind me over my shoulder, and it's just so gorgeous, and the clouds are like just breaking through a little bit so you can see it. It's just a perfect day because the clouds are like just at the top of the mountain peaks, and they're not too low where we can't see anything. You can still see like miles and miles out into the distance. It's perfect. I was wondering why my freaking micro spikes weren't working. I just took a look and they're all gone. All the pieces of metal are gone. I'm just walking on rubber. That's why I've been slipping all over the place. Yeah, I would recommend getting some really good crampons or legit micro spikes that you didn't get off of Amazon, because this is not working. Look at this. They're gone. I got one here. This one, two on this side. Garbage. Oh, God. There's the family. Hi. You shaking, Bacon?
What's going on?
You scared him. Two presents. He's like, no more hiking.
Check this out.
What'd you do? You broke them?
Yeah,
What happened?
I've been flopping around with them.
Why?
I just looked like over the hill and
And they just flew off.
no, not just flew off. Look at the metal.
They're all gone.
Yeah,
What'd you do?
I don't know. I was walking and they just must have been taken out. Me
mine
slipping every
taken
time. What?
Are mine taken out?
No. No, yours are fine.
Where's your name? It just got cold.
Yeah. You ready to go? Pete, you ready?
You want to go in a backpack? Ooh, thanks for your help, Pete. It's pretty comfy.
Oh, you're sitting on it?
Yeah, I read 2 chapters in my book.
So with my crampons falling apart spike by spike, we made the call to head back down off the ice. Even though we didn't make it to the towering ice walls, just being out here surrounded by the Wrangell Mountains is a massive win. This park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and standing out on that ice, miles away from civilization, you truly feel the raw, unfiltered scale of Alaska. It is untamed, unpredictable, and perfectly indifferent to whether your gear holds up or not. That is part of the magic. Getting off the ice is one thing, but making the climb back up the moraine to the main trail is a serious lung burner. It's steep, loose dirt, and it reminds you real quick that hiking in a glacial valley is no joke. I'm okay.
Alright, getting there, not so bad. It's pretty much flat the whole way until you get to the glacier, then you have to go down, which is fine. Until you have to turn around, you have to go up it. Up is worlds different. It is where I'm like thinking great thoughts about myself on the way there, like I could do this. I'm not as out of shape as I thought. And then you get humbled real quick trying to go uphill. And I'm like shaking, I'm like dying. It's bad. But I gotta hike every once in a while to keep them off my case. I don't really do anything else physically, so I might as well do something healthy, even if it's torture, and I hate every second of it. I hate that second. I hate that second. I hate all of these seconds. But seriously, I've never had endurance my entire life. I played soccer in high school and college. No endurance, none whatsoever. It's more of a sprinter. I can get somewhere quickly, and then that's it. That's all I got. It's just my DNA. It's how I've always been. And now that I'm actually out of shape, for real, it's even worse. So you might be wondering, well, Ashley, if you hate hiking, why are you doing this with your life? Oh, you mean, why did I quit my job and not have to wake up to an alarm clock every day? Or not have to worry about reading emails and keeping up with all sorts of housework stuff? Everything's always popping up. There's always something to do. Why did I decide not to have to deal with that? Why did I decide not to run a business anymore? 2 businesses? Why did I decide to see the country and enjoy all their food and learn about customs and culture and have to hike every once in a while? I don't know. I must be crazy. Well, if I have to be here doing this, I'm gonna make you come along with me. Story time. 2 summers ago was 2 of the hardest, longest hikes I've ever done in my life. Took a trip up to Montana and then into Canada, into Alberta. It was beautiful. We did about 6-hour hikes 2 times that week. That was the most I ever did. Very proud of myself, very good. And then the very next summer, I had just had surgery at April. So last summer, we started this adventure and I couldn't even walk a block So it was vastly different. Stark difference. So this summer coming up, I guess we're already in it. It's August. Jeez, it's hard to maintain time. But this summer, I made a good dent considering where I was last year. I do still have some pains, but nothing like before. So quite proud of myself. But I'm not here to like try to outdo anything. I don't care that much about my physical feats. I'm over that. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I like to just do a little bit better than I once did, but I also like exploring and trying new things. Hiking's not my favorite thing, but it is what my husband likes to do, and he does lots of things that he doesn't like to do for me, and that is the compromise of marriage. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna complain. He complains. That's my story time. We still have so much more to go. Pete's having a blast though.
Well, we arrived back in Kennecott, but unfortunately we missed the last guided mill tour of the day. If you want to go inside the massive 14-story concentration mill, you have to book a tour with St. Elias Alpine Guides. They usually run a few times a day, taking you right into the belly of the historic buildings. But even if you miss the tour, like we did, just walking around the exterior of these gigantic blood red structures perched on the cliffside is an incredible experience. After burning all those calories on the trail, we were starving. So we hopped back onto the shuttle and took the quick, dusty ride down the mountain into the neighboring town of McCarthy to grab some late lunch. Now, McCarthy is completely different from Kennecott. While Kennecott was a strict company town where alcohol and gambling were banned, McCarthy was the Wild West. It was the boomtown where the miners went to blow off steam. We made a beeline straight for a local favorite, the potato. Now, the potato is an absolute legend in McCarthy. It started as a tiny food truck years ago and eventually grew into this permanent fixture serving up insanely good comfort food. Out here at the end of a 60-mile dirt road, finding a meal this good is basically a miracle. They're famous for their curly fries, hearty sandwiches, and massive burritos. Sitting outside in the sun surrounded by quirky local history, eating a hot meal after a glacial hike, it really doesn't get much better than this. After filling up, we took a stroll through the dirt streets of McCarthy. Today, it's an off-grid community of just a few dozen year-round residents who brave the intense winters. We did some sightseeing, soaked in the rustic frontier vibes, and waited for the next shuttle back to the Footbridge.
We just got done over at the Potato. That is the place that hit the spot for sure. Oh my goodness. So Ashley got the Spudnik, which is like sausage gravy all over curly fries. And then I got the pulled pork po' boy. It was awesome. It was like the perfect thing after hiking out to the glacier, and we just haven't eaten for hours and hours. So absolutely recommend 100% going over to the Potato here in town. And then when you're here in town, there's the saloon that you can go over to and get some drinks. There's a few things over here that you can do. So don't skip out on McCarthy. Just spend a few hours here, just, getting some libations, getting some food, and just hanging out.
We caught the shuttle back, and our driver's dog was literally riding shotgun, which just perfectly sums up the vibe of this entire area. The McCarthy and Kennecott communities attract a certain kind of fiercely independent, rugged person. Living out here means no grid power, extreme isolation, and dealing with wild logistics just to get groceries. But experiencing the warmth of the locals and the untouchable beauty of the surrounding Wrangell-St. Elias wilderness makes you understand exactly why they choose to call this incredible edge of the map home. It's a place that gets under your skin in the best way possible. And we finally made it back to the Footbridge, crossed over the Kennecott River one last time, and happily made it back to the van. It was a massive day, and we were beyond ready to settle in for the night. We boondocked just outside the park, and that night, Alaska delivered the ultimate reward. The skies cleared and the northern lights danced right over the van. The next morning, driving out, we pulled over at the Copper River Scenic Viewpoint to take in the giants. On the left is Mount Sanford, a dormant volcano standing over 16,200 feet tall with a massive, steep pyramid shape. In the center is Mount Drum, a broad 12,000-foot volcanic peak. And on the far right is Mount Wrangell, a 14,000-foot active shield volcano that looks flat and broad compared to the others. It was the absolute perfect send-off from America's largest national park. We'll see you on the next adventure.